It's too bad. I mean, it's a super conservative financial environment right now.
Yeah.
But something with the brand recognition and loyalty of WOXY, I mean, to me, there has to be some way to salvage that brand. It's just so heartbreaking to see it just sort of go away. And I'm sure it is for you and probably people you've been in contact with. What kind of feedback have you gotten from long-term fans of the station?
Oh, I mean, you know, it's tough because, I mean, I think the loyal folks, you know, they're as upset about it as ever, but it's one of these things where it's like we've been down this road before, and I mean, I can only imagine. I mean, I know how tired of it I am. You know, I mean, it's like there, you know, at a certain point, it's just sort of like put it to bed.
It's time to move on with our lives.
I mean, that's how I felt for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as amazing as Waxy was, and you know, it was, and obviously, you know, it was part of my professional life for 12 years, really 14, and then, you know, I go back 20 years as a listener, so it's been a huge part of my life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it, you know, from a business perspective, we have been unable, unfortunately, to be paired with people who are actually good business people. I mean, like, that's at the end of the day, like, that's just sort of what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
People with really good intentions and interesting ideas that haven't made them work.
So what are some of the bands you've been introduced to since you moved here? Who are some of your favorite local bands to see?
Favorite local band by far is Follow That Bird.
Mm-hmm.
They just absolutely have blown me away, and I think that, you know, every time I've seen them live, they've been a better band, and I'm really excited for what they do,
Mm-hmm.
what they do next.
I haven't gotten a chance to see them, but I know that you've talked about them before, so I definitely need to check them out. How would you describe them?
I mean, it's a female-fronted trio, and it's garage rocky in a way, but man, they've got great melodies, and there's just their songwriting just hits my sweet spot. Mm-hmm. I think that they're really, really talented.
So, in terms of business models for artists, I mean, this is definitely a trying time for artists as well, and
Absolutely.
Nobody's buying records, like you said, and CDs. And so, what do you think artists need to do to be successful or to be even relevant?
I mean, it's really difficult because there are more releases than ever. I mean, the blessing and the curse of our current technology is that it is easier and more affordable than ever for someone to create a quality recording of their music. Mm-hmm. Easier than ever. That opens up the floodgates to a certain extent. I mean, something that 15, 20 years ago would have been strictly a regional artist or band who played within that 120-mile radius of their home and might have somehow gotten lucky, gotten a regional radio hit or something like that, and caught the attention of labels. I mean, those things always happened, but it was a lot slower. You know, it didn't happen the way that it can happen now. Now, I mean, I could record a record in my bedroom and post it on Bandcamp, put tracks up, release them through Twitter, my Facebook page, all that kind of stuff. The music could start being heard the day that I make it. Mm-hmm. And that's exciting. And for a tiny percentage of artists, it works in a huge way. Mm-hmm. Of course it doesn't work for everyone. I mean, you know, I look at those SoundScan numbers each week, and I kind of, you know, get amazed at the artists that have been around, you know, the people that you think, I mean, at least in the indie world, that I sort of think of as, you know, having a name for themselves and whatever, and it's like you look at their sales numbers and they're, you know, maybe they only sell 10,000 copies.
Right.
And for those people, it becomes, can you stay on the road as much as possible? You know, you've built a fan base up to a certain point so that you can make money off of touring and, you know, all of that kind of things. There's so many facets to it. Mm-hmm. And I think it is very hard for people to make them all work.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think you're hitting on all the things that artists need to be thinking about, but the combination that works for an individual artist is going to vary.
It's definitely.
I think first and foremost, they just need to be making good music that people want to hear.
Right.
And then the word of mouth now that can be done through technology and social media will help that. But then once you have this buzz, then what do you do with it? You know, mm-hmm. How do you get people to buy something? Because it may not be the CD, because like you said, I mean, that's becoming more and more relevant all the time. And, you know, people aren't necessarily that willing to pay for downloads, although people do buy music on iTunes. But, you know, the concert ticket, the merchandise, the limited edition something or another, or the house concert, or, you know, meet and greet passes. I mean, there's so many different things that people are experimenting with.
I think especially with the indie bands and artists, it has to be those weird little limited edition things and cool vinyl, you know, numbered pressings, like all that kind of people, especially, you know, you cultivate a certain rabid little fan base and of people who will go after anything you do and
sell it to them.
I mean, it's silly in a way, but yes, anything you're doing that is numbered, limited, collectible, whatever, you know, people like me go after that kind of stuff.
And the relationship between a band and fans seems to have changed, and not all bands are comfortable with that sort of direct line through things like Twitter and Facebook, where fans really want a little piece of you. They want to know a little bit about what's going on in your life, and they want to get a little update here and there. And they might want to come to a meet and greet, or, you know, they might need to do in stores and things like that, and interact with their fan base and cultivate it a little bit. There are examples of bands who have very rabid fan bases that really haven't done that much to cultivate them, and they've been lucky. Mm-hmm. But there's so many tools now, I think, and we will continue to see more tools, I think, that are going to help bands cultivate their fan base, reward fans for certain behaviors, maybe.
Yeah.
And to just communicate, like have a conversation, be with the band, as opposed to just one way, like, we're giving you this music and you should listen to it, and that's it.
Well, I mean, look, even for a person like me who has spent, you know, over a decade, you know, working directly with bands and artists and people that I love, like, there's still an awful lot of people who I would never expect to necessarily get a chance to speak with or interview or anything like that. And then, you know, on something like Twitter, you know, I mean, I had Tracy Thorn respond to me on Twitter when I posted that, you know, I tried to order her import vinyl through Amazon US and that they canceled the order and didn't get any in stock. And she responded to me and was like, oh, have you tried this or like whatever? And I was just like, one of my favorite singers in the world just read what something I wrote and answered it.
It's powerful because that little sort of ambient contact that you get with them means a lot to the fan, and hopefully people don't start expecting, you know, replies all the time from their favorite artist.
I mean, you don't expect it. It's surprising. It's like, oh, holy shit! Like she's actually on this. And
and it's easy for them. I mean, it like once artists realize that the Twitter thing is super easy to do, and you can engage with people real easy when you're, you know, on the van, driving across country or something, you know, wasting time. I mean, it's really easy for them to do that. So it's, to me, again, lots of opportunities, but not all bands are comfortable with those things right now.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming over today and talking with me. And,
absolutely.
You know, hopefully this will give more people perspective on what WOXY was and the history and the legacy behind it, and what we're really missing by not having the station. And I mean, I really hope everything works out for you. And I know. Well, I want you to stay in Austin, and just continue enjoying, loving life in Austin. So thanks again for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks, Cindy.
Okay, well, we'll do it again sometime.
Sounds good.